All across the world, they feel the healing. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Sunday today, it's Sunday. Atana, chill. Cha. What's in it? Yeah. Masa. Yeah? Mata. So nice. Feel the healing of the kalimba. Tena. Ta. It's kalimba time.
Hi there, welcome to the Savafe live show. Today is Saturday. We are doing this every Saturday. We are trying to connect with people of African descent from wherever they are, whether you are in the US, whether you are in Brazil, whether you are in the middle of nowhere somewhere, in Timbuktu, in Zimbabwe. Now, the reason why we are connecting, we want to speak to each other. We want to share our thoughts. We want to reconnect as a people in our own voices. And today, we have traveled all the way from the continent in our own time straight into the US. I am from Zimbabwe. And I'm about to introduce you to a brother who is here from the continent and has been and was born in the US and is an American. We know the history. He's going to talk to us about all the journey that was traveled by many people a long time ago, and how we have reconnected, and we are going to share our thoughts. We're going to have a conversation as a brother and a sister, and enjoy it. Hasan, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
Now, it is sad and it is beautiful at the same time for me, because I'm meeting a brother virtually. But I can't forget our first conversation. It's like we have met before. It's like we have always been. You understand? We didn't have to
Yes.
struggle to talk at
No.
all.
No.
That was my sense, my feeling that I've met this soul before. And I think there's a history of why you and I are connected. And I want to start there. You were born in the US,
The same as your name, Savannah.
Savannah, Georgia. I know you were born in Savannah, Georgia,
Yes.
which is really beautiful. Take me into your growing up in Savannah, Georgia, the culture. What does it feel like? What does it, how can I understand as someone who has, I mean, I've been to Savannah, Georgia, but I've never really lived there. I don't understand the culture. What's the culture like there?
Well, it's a very strong culture,
Hmm.
but it's also a culture that had bridles upon it.
Yes.
And for me, it was beautiful growing up. I grew up very sheltered. I'm from the Gullah Geechee tradition.
Hmm.
And what's really important about that is we have a culture, but so many times we've been taken away from our culture. We've been apportionated in our expressions of the culture.
Hmm.
Okay. It's not known for a lot of people because, there was a dominant situation.
Hmm.
And I appreciate everyone for the good they bring.
Yes.
And I also appreciate for the stress that people can put upon you, which if you stand up to the reality, you can transform that energy to become a diamond.
Yes.
There will not be any time for being lazy. And my people were very hardworking people. Most
Hmm.
of them switched from dealing with the farm. The area that my family comes from is called Defusky Island, which
Yes.
is our property was across the Calabugie from with this place they call Hilton Head, where they have the Golf Classic and all these other things. But
Hmm.
I grew up respecting the earth, respecting elders. Most importantly, I used to sing before I would visit someone's home, you
Yeah.
know, and so that's what it was for me. And of course, the young ones were urged on to go and get some kind of education or get a good job so that you can build life.
Mm.
And so I was born in 1955.
Mhm.
Um, and that's what that is.
Yeah, it's beautiful just what you said there, that you grew up respecting adults. It's so African. It's so us. It's what I grew up doing the same thing. So there's very much similarities there when we are growing up, and I wonder if that was because you said something about the culture being sometimes pushed and taken out of your context, the
Yeah.
context that you want. And let me begin by saying this. We as Africans have this notion that African Americans were robbed of their culture, which when I spoke to one friend, Jomo, I think his name is Jomo, I think it's a
Yes.
common friend to us, he sort of wrapped it out for me in a different understanding. I don't know if you agree to this, that that is not true. African Americans were never robbed of their culture because you cannot take what's within inside someone. They just find a way of expressing it in a different way.
Yeah. Well, to comment on that, like I said, it was put in those binders.
Hmm.
They did not take it away from you. They just
Yes,
lacked you the ability to express, to understand, to be married
yes,
on your own terms, to carry your own name. When you
yes,
rob people of that, it's gonna have tumultuous occurrences
yes,
unless it is seated in love and you allow people to grow and reclaim who they are. Sankofa.
yes. So, given that scenario, now you are in Georgia, 1959. That's when you were born.
5-5.
1950.
I want to keep the elderships. 5-5. 65 coming up in 90 days. So
Oh my
I'm
God.
thankful.
Beautiful. Yes, beautiful. I just probably was thinking of my age and trying to bring you back to my age.
I enjoy.
Yeah. So continue walking me through the journey of growing up in Georgia and the culture.
Well, my family was the Baptist, and that was the strongest musical expression in the area. I'm telling you, it was amazing. The churches used to rock, and they still do, even though I haven't lived there for 40 years. I was in New York for 40 years. So going on the journey, my mom and I think my dad or whomever, they wanted to get involved in Catholicism. So as young ones, we were going to, parochial school, the Catholic school, and always looking at where I want to go. Where I want to go is education, education. I later went on to Tuskegee Institute, to further my education. And around 15, music came into my life because my father, he's such an amazing person. He would always collect these kinds of things. I think I'm playing cards.
Yes. Yes.
And he would share them a guitar or a trombone or something like that. But he's just an amazing giving person. And my mom always assisted me in whatever I wanted. And then like around 16, 17, I got involved in the drums.
Yeah. Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
And again, so many similarities, and I'm going to keep referencing to our similarities whenever I pick them. You talk about growing up Catholic, right?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the first thing. Yeah.
So did I. I grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But that was
So
a bridle. That was a bridle, my sister. So that your own African sensibility of your
yes.
soul was not being expressed.
Yes, yes, absolutely. But those are the influences, obviously, that connect and the things that are that were thrown into our being that probably change or add or shape who we are today.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, you play jazz.
I have, yes. I play music.
You play music, beautiful. But there's a reason why I want to mention jazz in particular. My my first coming into the US, I was very fortunate that I had people around me, family, even not family, people who were of different orientation, who helped me find the dream that is the American dream that we come here for. We as Africans now, we are fortunate that we have a choice to come to America and we are seeking a dream. And it's so funny because when you continue with the story, you will see that you later on come full circle, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm chasing this dream. I get into the US, and I'm one of the fortunate people that I can say I've enjoyed the US. The US has given me a lot of opportunities. It has its flaws, but it has a lot of opportunities that I would not have gotten had I stayed where I was for many different reasons. We're not going to go into that, but I want to go into my first introduction into the US. I was like any other immigrant. You do what you have. Whatever I was trained for in Zimbabwe did not matter. What mattered was that I had to find a job. I had to make a living.
Yes, in New York.
Yes, in New York.
Ooh, you did a lot of stuff.
I'm telling you. Now, you are in New York. Clearly, there's an industry that usually is very dominant and acceptable for us immigrants, which is the entertainment and food industry. So there I was, boom, I went into restaurants, whatever it took to be in a restaurant. And eventually I was able to manage one of the most beautiful, the pride of Black Americans that time. I don't know. I'm gonna say the name just because I want you to see if you remember this place, because you are in New York, but maybe you were not in New York that time. It was called the Soul Cafe.
I remember that, but vaguely. I remember. Where
Okay.
was it located?
It was on 10th Avenue, 42nd Street, between 10th and 11th Avenue.
Yeah, downtown. I know of it, but
Midtown.
Midtown. Well, yeah, downtown.
Yeah.
Since I lived in Harlem,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
what I was saying is,
Oh, okay. Yes.
42nd Street at that time when I came to New York was a bit challenging, so I
It
kind of stayed
was.
out of certain places.
It was. But there was this, it was a challenging space with all that was going on, but there was this little diamond that was sitting right there. And this place was a must-go place for anyone who was African American, because it catered for that. There was live music there, because that's our
Yes.
soul. There was
Yes.
live music.
Mhm.
And it was owned by aggressive African Americans who had this vision of seeing fine dining,
Mhm.
and a place where anything that is African, Black, and people were mixing there, and it had a fusion of the Caribbean. So it was the Southern soul food fused with Caribbean.
Yeah, I remember the place. I just didn't frequent it. Well, a lot of other places I was frequenting.
Yeah, there's always many places. Yeah, but it a lot of people came from this stage of Soul Cafe. That's why I say that, because this is where I was introduced to jazz, mainstream music of the who is who in the community, what the culture was like. I got it from there. You understand? And I understood that jazz played a very important part in the life of an African American in America. And I want you to explain it to me in your context, because as much as I think I understand it, I really do not.
Well, it's real simple for me what jazz represents, especially to me and a few of the colleagues that I worked with. It is a time for you to express what's in your heart. Yes, you might understand your instrument, you might see certain social ramifications going on, but when it comes to music, it's your individual, spiritual, deep expression.
Yes.
And whenever you're in there, you can call it whatever. You will find us rocking out, shining with love. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's another time, jazz. Yeah, a lot of people getting around, a lot of legendary artists. But again, it's just another window for you to express your gift and your inner feelings.
Yes. Beautiful. Now, I want to say, even when I was working there, and then I later on worked for another beautiful space that was created in Harlem. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called Red Rooster.
Oh yeah, but Red Rooster is kind of new.
Yeah, Red Rooster was a brainchild of someone that I worked with those days, who then wanted to in fact, he wanted to change the space that Harlem is, to say, you know what, we as Black people, as Africans, we're trendsetters. No one wanted to go to Harlem for dining. People used to come from uptown to downtown to dine, but he wanted people to come from downtown to uptown and dine. And that's how Red Rooster was created. And I must say, people like Santana were there.
Of course, you're gonna go where it's popping.
Exactly. Anybody.
Cotton Club.
Barack Obama's first dinner was there.
Well, it's anything that's in the trend. A lot of people that want people to know they're in the trend, in the flow, in the vogue, will go to these places. Like I said, the Cotton Club. We had a place with Brother John Harris back in the day in the 80s called Natural Nights.
Yes,
Or we don't
yes,
smoke, we don't drink, we dance until the floors fall off, the roof
yes, yes,
falls off. So it's just following the trends, you
yeah.
know. Yeah.
And the reason why we are talking about this, I just want people to understand sort of in a short um, the culture, the African American culture of music, and
Hmm.
then I want to connect it back now to the instrument that you play, and I want us to take a quick shot listening to you playing your instrument. I want you to tell us about your instrument first.
Oh, which one? Because I have a slight situation where
Well,
I've been
yeah,
blessed.
I'm from Zimbabwe, right? In
Oh, mama,
Zimbabwe,
know
in
that.
Zimbabwe, we have Mbira. You
Mbira,
know.
yeah, no.
Now, I want us to go into talking about Mbira, and I want to connect and see how we can connect and how it is connected.
Okay. Well, from the tradition, you have to give credit where credit is due.
Yes,
And I was in a group called Spirit Ensemble. Their
yes,
main chordal instrument was the mbira and also what we would call kalimba. And we know in Africa there's many, many, many styles, versions, forms. Okay. But
yes,
Zimbabwe is the hot spot for this type of instrument.
yes,
Now, myself being in the Spirit Ensemble, I was I was in the company of two amazing players. Zaleka Jenkins, who made his own kalimbas and was, and still is in my heart, one of the most fantastic players I have ever seen.
yes,
His ability to play multi rhythms, poly, and sing and express himself and compose, for me, being
yes,
in that crucible with
yes,
him was incredible. Now
yes,
we go on to another troubadour of the music. His name is Kevin Nathaniel.
yes,
He studied with Dumi Maraire
yes,
and Ifat Mujuru, who
yes,
I got a chance to record with on, I think, an album from Folk Waves. We did a thing together, but Ifat's situation for me was that he recognized who I was and what my gift was.
yes,
And I remember asking Ifat, I want to learn this traditional thing, this
yes.
tradition. You know what he told me?
What did you say?
He said, Hasan, everything you do is traditional because you do it out of love.
Yes.
And he said,
Because what is tradition really? What is tradition?
love.
Exactly.
And, we came here, African American, we learned the instrument, maybe not from teachers. It
Yeah.
was the instrument teaching us, and we know the mystical side to the Mbira. We
Yeah.
know that. We know what it brings and
Yeah.
who it calls.
So your first introduction, I want to get that very clear because it's very important to the conversation that we are going to have. Your
Mm-hmm.
first introduction to this instrument was not from someone from the continent. It was from someone who had learned from someone from the continent.
Or who was inspired, no, or who inspired from finding the instrument, like in a music store, like how we talk about the leader for Earth, Wind and Fire, Maurice White.
Yes,
He said
Maurice
he
White.
saw it
Let's
in
talk about Maurice White.
he
Yes.
saw it in a store one day,
Yes.
and the man who escapes me right now, he was out of the West Coast. I think his sons have a big group. I think the Dirty Dozens band or something like that.
Yes.
And he envisioned kalimba when he heard it.
Yes.
It's multiple streams, but like I said, my gift was to be around someone, and I was able to compose music, sing, play drums and whatever, and perform the music, and that instilled that love of Mbira and its magic within me.
Yeah. So what attracts you to the Mbira? What attracted you to the Mbira yourself?
Well, it looked like I was talking to my family, because I looked at it and I saw, like on the piano, if it's
Yes.
an 88 keys, it has 88 possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not so portable. That's not the original Walkman.
Yes.
Kalimba Mbira is the original Walkman from Africa, the original music, the real portable music, the real mobile experience.
Yes.
And in communion with other people, we go really deep, really in love, really deep, really in love. And we sit in ensemble and our unity and community brings forth a wonderful feeling and a wonderful balance with each other.
Amazing.
Yeah, the Mbira, man. Whew.
You have Mbira, so now can you just grab it? And we're gonna just go behind the scenes and listen to it and listen to you play. We'll be right behind you. Let's listen to Hasan play his instrument.
Okay, first I want to tell you that when you love something deeply and you have the opportunity, you will end up learning how to make. Okay.
Yes.
And it will
Because
just
you
guide
won't
you.
be able to get it as easily if you don't.
Right. You will do a lot. You will do a lot, and it will do a lot for you. What you put
Yes.
your time into, it blossoms for you.
Okay. All right. Let's listen to Hasan.
Laughter is a feeling, such a wonderful feeling. Is Mbira. Laughter is a feeling that keeps on going on. I hope you hear me out there. Always keep laughter as a part of your day, as a part of your thoughts. It is your healing. It is who you are. It is your greatness. It is your community. Laughter, what a feeling.
Yes, we could hear you perfectly.
You can hear me?
Yes, perfectly and beautifully, and it is what you can when we are in Zimbabwe, when we were growing up, something that I struggle with a lot as a Zimbabwean. This instrument was always played in a traditional setting, but I have imagined this instrument going on different settings so many times. I know this instrument can play on any level, just like the guitar, just like the piano, just like the maybe the saxophone or whatever, So I feel that part of the narration that has been given to us, which we swallow wholeheartedly without thinking, is that we have allowed this instrument to be described as a traditional instrument and can only be played in one dimension, which really is sad for me.
Yes.
This instrument, I feel, it's a disservice to it to have, because I know even the Spanish guitar, as it is described as the Spanish guitar, it still can be taken in any context. You bring in the Spanish guitar, whether you're playing jazz, whether you're playing rock or whatever music you're playing, but you can bring in that Spanish guitar and understand that what is that I hear? Oh, that's a Spanish guitar, because of the sound and the way it strings, right? Yes. And I feel it's the same thing that can be done for this beautiful instrument called Mbira, because it's not just in Zimbabwe, but you're right that in Zimbabwe it is way more developed and more embraced by just almost in a wide sense. And Zimbabwe has taken it out of Zimbabwe and given it to the world in a larger scale. But there's a constraint that has been put to this instrument that I want us to discuss for a quick second, where others have described it for us as a traditional instrument, thereby telling us that we cannot take it out of the traditional context. What you, as someone who is not from Zimbabwe, found out, and can this instrument level up with any other instrument that you play? Because you play so many.
Yeah.
Can this instrument level up?
Well, absolutely, incredibly, and become a trendsetter in the spectrum of music. I'm going to say a name, Jomo Fox.
Yes.
And everybody was talking about, oh, the kalimba and Mbira is diatonic. It
Yes.
can't do this. And I
Yes.
said, well, tune it to it. No, they said it can't do it. Well, Jomo Fox was the first person I saw who developed a chromatic instrument that had one Mbira on the top, one
Yes.
Mbira on the bottom. And he
Yes.
could manipulate it on the top and manipulate it on the bottom, playing
Yes.
all keys. And his music is jazz. He
Yes.
is my teacher, and I love him because we all are teachers to each other.
Yes.
So forget those small-minded people when they're dealing with the immense universe of our music.
Yes. And when I say this, I want people to understand I love tradition. I love Zimbabwean tradition. I love the Mbira music in a traditional sense, and I love it when we are using it in our tradition, in our ceremonies. That never is going to change. For
Never.
I know that is solid back home. No one can change that, because when we are going through colonialism, right, which will take many more years for us to untangle ourselves from colonialism, it still did not die in the traditional sense in the village. The holders kept it sacred.
Yes.
And it still lives.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm not scared. I'm not afraid that if we take this instrument outside of Zimbabwe and people take it and use it for whatever, or they even reinvent it, it is not going to take away or destroy the traditional sense, which I think is the fear of others.
First, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
first of all, no fear, nothing about the gift that you've been given to by the greatness, the divinity, and the purpose and the greatness that we come from. Do not hold any fear about any person, anything, and not let these people, whomever they are, because they're really small in their intelligence and small in spiritual value, to now decide that this can't do this and this is no, because all is mental, all is mind, and goodness and love with mind means that you are going to walk in tradition and enjoy that effervescence.
Yes. Now, so we to close up on the jazz connection. Actually, funny enough, Jomo did send me an extract of Miles Davis' biography, and he did mention his influence from the Mbira biography. Now, I wanted to say, we as Africans, and the culture that we have, and the culture that we did not lose when we left the continent, to you, how do you think we can best collaborate or continue to share our music and culture as people from the Caribbeans, Brazil, the continent, Americas, all over the place? We are fragmented right now.
Yes.
We need to come together.
Yes. That possibility can only work when people travel and talk, which is what communication is. When I go to Zimbabwe and when I walk down the street, they're going to know me. They're going to feel me coming. because I'm the other side of the family that you miss. In West Africa in 2007, I had a long gum, and I think they call it the boo boo. It's different people call it whatever. People were walking up to me, "Hey, Baba, Jarima, dude, my name's,"
Yeah.
and they were
Yeah.
speaking to me in Fula.
Yeah.
And I said, "Listen, man, I only know Spanish and a little Arabic and blah. Okay, and
Because
they
you
some
look
English."
like you're straight from the continent.
And so the guy said, he said, "You're not, you look like this, blah blah." And I'm saying, "Listen, thank you, thank you." So I said, I kissed the ground. I'm from this ground.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
yeah. We just need to talk and communicate, like your great program. Have been on this show is another connector. So in 20 years, the effect will be steeping in to what we've shared here to the children and
Yes.
those who don't know themselves. If you know yourself, you look at yourself, well, I'm different from this person.
Yes.
And it does, so continue to connect, talk, travel. I want to go to Zimbabwe before I leave this husk.
Of course.
Okay. I want to do that. Like I was supposed to go to the Bushfire Festival, but COVID ruined that, So when I walk, I'm going to walk like the king is there, but not the king, just your brother. And you're so happy to see him.
Yeah. And of course, COVID has done a lot of harm, and then COVID is, I can't even imagine the havoc it has played in our lives.
Mhm.
But I'll tell you something beautiful that came out of COVID is what we're doing right now, because we realize that we do not have to travel to make a connection, to start having these conversations. We will travel.
Mhm.
We will go to the continent. I am here in New York right now because I can't be on the continent,
Mhm.
and many other reasons. But we do not have to wait anymore, because the internet now has become is in fact, I say this: the internet age has collapsed the globe. The globe is collapsed.
That's right.
I'm in California with you right now, and you're in New York with me. I can go to Mali anytime and speak to Mali and see the streets. You can start walking outside and showing me what everything is, and I am in your space right now, and we must take advantage of that. And that's something that we haven't exploited very much so on the continent or as a people, so that we can all come together and create this space where we speak in our own voices.
Exactly. Always through someone else. It is time for me to know you, not through some representative. Like I remember the last time I saw Ifat. Some
Yes.
people, to be judicious and to be fair, they spent their money or their investment to bring him to America.
Yes.
I enjoyed it because
Of course.
I was behind, and I'm so thankful for that.
I am.
However, there's an overarching feeling that he was to stay where they wanted him to stay. And I was like, "Yo, what you doing tomorrow night or whatever?" He says, "I'm so and so and so." And I said, "Well, yeah, come and hang out with this side of the family." And
what you're saying is that you felt there was an overly protection to him,
yes,
that he cannot. So that is the sad part that I've realized, and and you're not the only one who feels that and who sees that. It is true. I appreciate, and I also I'm very much in tune with the culture of the Mbira and the community. And I also have that sense, which is what I want to ask you as an African American, because I can understand an investor who has put their money on it, and they're trying to shield what they have invested in.
Yes.
So that's how I saw it, as people will invest clearly, and then they protect what they've invested for the time that the person is here. But it has created a very, very negative, a kind of bad environment in Zimbabwe that I want to share with people right now. And then you can share with me as well. I want you to share with me while I'm saying this. Start rolling your brain into how the African American community, one, could not interact with them, but I also want to know why African Americans did not themselves then take that opportunity and say, hey, maybe we are in a better position. Can we invest and get some of these guys to come straight into our communities? Because that is always open for anyone. So as much as we want to look at the other end and critic, we must also look at our side and critic what we should have done.
Exactly.
So now I want to talk about in Zimbabwe, what I see, what that community, as beautiful as it is, I don't want that community destroyed. I am one of those people who will tell you that I will tell you that community is amazing. It has done what it can. It has done what it intended to do. And I cannot blame anyone who puts their money and then protect their investment. We must invest in our own, because we keep talking about others. Yet and I'm speaking to Zimbabweans right now. I'm not going to speak to African Americans. You will speak to the African American. I'm going to speak to Zimbabweans right now. We cry so hard when we see other people take our instrument and our tradition to the next level and invest in it. And then we're like, oh, they're taking our... No. We ourselves still very much in the colonial era, where we fear our own instruments, we fear our own traditions. We haven't come out of that.
Wow.
It is the truth. A lot of people still hold on to the... I was raised Catholic, and I love the Catholic tradition and religion, but it takes away nothing from my own tradition and religion.
Exactly.
That I was passed on to me, okay? In fact, I take what I think is great about the Catholics and embrace it. And then the things that I can't buy into or that I already have from my values that I grew up with, I just trash them. You understand?
Yes, totally.
Now, we must invest in our own music. It's a struggle to get people to invest in thoughts and values that we are doing right now, like just even what we are doing right now. You can't get people to subscribe. But if people come from the other side, because they come with hard cash, and you and I talked about this yesterday, they come with hard cash, but it is very long, short-term investment. Like you were seeing, they will invest in Efat Mujuru to come into the US. Efat Mujuru will tour for a month or whatever, and then he goes back home. They make sure you go back home, right?
Yes.
And what do you do when you're back home? I'll tell you what they do. Nothing, because there's no investment in... There are no institutions that were built for this music. There are no institutions that were invested in, because everything was centered on individuals. And individuals cannot build a community. A community cannot be built by the entire community. So it's something that has to change.
Wow, you said a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I'm thankful for whomever wanted to share culture from the continent to those continental Africans who were living here in the U.S. or born here. And I'm a bit of a rebel, but I'm a peaceful rebel. You know, I don't bother people. Like I remember I played Carnegie Hall before. Myself and Kevin Nathaniel wrote a story called Din Din Ya, which was about initiates coming from the forest. And we had 2,700 people in the house in the big stern. And I played Carnegie Hall like 14 times.
Oh, nice.
Okay, maybe on the stage, the big stern stage, but in the house and through ever in the Zankel and all these places. Yeah, it's just a place to play. Okay, but I'm thankful to everybody. And that's why I get along with everyone. I speak my mind. And I'm an honest person. That's one of the main reasons why I still continue to work pre-COVID. you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But but the shackles of colonialism and capitalism, they go so deep. So a lot of people in Zimbabwe and the continent, they're still suffering from that. They don't. A lot of them might not be thinking outside the box,
Yeah.
but somehow that's why I put the responsibility on our religious leaders to say, hey, man, there's some guys that are doing some really nice stuff in the U.S., our African brothers and sisters. Let's bring them over here and let them have a concert. Like I told someone when we were at Carnegie Hall, I said, you guys are doing these concerts and bringing people from Mali. Bring us over there. We'll pay for our own ticket. Just hook
Yeah.
up to work in the accommodations. But, it's all has to be about what people's directions are,
Yes. Yes.
My group Spirit Ensemble was, in my opinion, and a lot of other people overlooked because we were the Africans here or the Black people here that sang in English. And that's not part of their model. They didn't, so you don't just come together, talk to your family. And out of that community feeling and reality will be the energy and the how to do it. It would just sparkle out of it. That's what I see. If you don't have a lot, but you really want to make things happen, the how to do would just show up magically from the dynamics of your mind. So, wow. Take every challenge as an opportunity. Take every challenge as an opportunity.
So I'm gonna ask you, what is your favorite instrument? And which instrument did you learn first? And how do you keep up with all these instruments? And after you tell me what your favorite instrument is, please pick it up if you have it and play it for us.
Well, my favorite instrument,
that's a tough one, right?
That's a tough one because I believe nothing is dead. I believe all things are alive. They have a rate of energy and a frequency. And because they do, when you involve yourself in these things, in the playing and interaction, they will start connecting with your sinew, with your own deepness, and they will start this communication through you. As one of my prayers before I play is to continue the prayer of playing.
Yes.
And, may spirit, may greatness, may the ultimate use me for this moment to bring more joy, more harmony, more love, more peace.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do what I call a flute tonification.
Yes.
Right. Now it might be a little crazy for a lot of people, but it won't cost much. It's just
fine.
listening, but it helps me to breathe, and it's something that came out of me being involved with this kind of flute. This flute comes from the native peoples and what we called America, or so-called America, or Mexico,
wow.
whatever.
Wow. And it's a beautiful instrument, especially when you're talking about it teaches you how to breathe, especially in the time we are in, the COVID time where we need to breathe.
Yes. And if you're having COVID challenges, they didn't tell you that you should go somewhere and steam your body and steam your olfactory system and clean it out. And when you are there in that discipline, take and put your head on the floor and put your rear in the air. So you're dipping down like downward dog. And then you move your lungs. The lungs start to expel and push fluid to the forward. They didn't tell you that, but there's in the research. So the healers in the music know how they heal themselves.
All right.
And that's what I want to share. Okay.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna give a little effect on this.
Okay, we'll be right behind you while you play, ladies and gentlemen. Let's listen to play his flute.
Yeah.
off the screen, please. This is beautiful.
Walk away from the distractions. May your family be blessed. May your communities shine. Walk away from the disturbances and distractions. Be about love. Thank you.
Wow. I mean, you couldn't have put the spirit back. You're so spiritual, and I probably understand why you were attracted to the Mbira.
Thank you. Thank you. So why do I wear the dark glasses? So there are lights in my room, but I always don't want people to see. I'm so filled with emotion that now you think I'm crying because I'm having a problem. No, it is tears of joy. So many can't walk across the room or move their fingers or help their parents or haven't seen their children in years because they work in diamond mines. I have this opportunity to speak now, and this flute tonification is for all those people. So it's tears of joy because upon the music, they fly. And we are one. Ubuntu. Thank you. Okay, I had that. Thank you.
We don't have to talk. Because our spirits speak. We don't have to say words, because that's who we are as a people.
Can listen in on our conversation is totally from sincerity. You're honest, glowing people. And the more we act like it and refine that, oh, these challenges become opportunities and their stress melts away. When I play music, my body is healed. Thank you. I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah. This is what the music does to us. It speaks to our soul. And this is how our great fathers survived the journey. And this is why, to my own opinion, which is not fact, but it's my own opinion, this is why the African Americans sing so beautifully. It's from the soul.
Yeah, they can sing, I tell you.
I can tell you that. I can tell you that. I'm not African American, so I can speak to it. That doesn't mean I'm not saying others don't speak, but when it comes to speaking from the soul, it's the journey the African American has taken that makes them speak the way they do.
The spectrum of experience, is so vast with our African people. I remember going to church, and this is not a knock. Everybody's got whatever they have.
Yeah.
Came back from the church with mom, and we lived in a big yard. And as I got out the car, I heard, and I was like, what?
What is this?
But I knew what it was. But today they were rocking. So mom says, do so-and-so. And I did it. And then she went in the house. And then I proceeded not to do it. And I jumped the fence and jumped the alleyway and crawled up on these little boxes that were close to the window in the sanctified church. And these people were singing. 200, 300-pound women were floating in the air with that feeling. And every once in a while, somebody would say, yes, Lord. And they would jerk their back like, yeah. And it was like raw love and presence of God. And, and then a couple of times they felt back and the church pew just like popped up.
I'm right inside Harlem right now as you speak. I've just gone to Harlem. I used to go to a church in Harlem. I won't say which church it was. And I am one of those people that does not move. But I can tell you I got moved.
Oh my God.
But our show usually is 1 hour. We're coming up to 58 minutes.
Okay.
And I feel that after the last session, after the flute, there's nothing we can say. There's nothing anymore I want to add to this conversation. There are so many questions that I had planned. There's a whole direction that I thought this conversation is going to go, but it's the spirit took this conversation to where it wanted it to go. Now, I'm going to be selfish again and ask you to pick another instrument, because we must pick another instrument, play it, and thank you.
Do you remember the song? Shout out to Brother Kevin Nathaniel.
Unfortunately, I cannot sing.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Ah. Get it, get it, banana, hit it, hit it, hit it, banana, hit it, hit it, banana, hit it, yeah, for the Shangan. One of the most famous songs come out of Zimbabwe. Mutsumatandere. Mutsumatandarika. Yeah, Namatandarika. Ah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, na say. Yeah, na 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 de. Yeah, na 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 de. In there, ga see, America, coming to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is in America. See, my sister Savannah is here, doing an amazing job. Kutsumatandarika. Sparkle, sparkle. Yunga, yunga, yunga. Ahoo, 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 butsu, ahoo, ahoo.
Nothing but love, Zimbabwe.
Thank you so much. I feel like I want to talk some more, but time does not permit us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Call me.
Thank you for the love. And I feel that there's so much more we can do together, and there's so much more we can take this culture ride. That's what we call it. Culture ride across the continent,
Yes.
across all continents, and we can begin to speak in our own voices. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation.
Thank you so much.
Is there something that you want to say as a close to the listeners?
Listeners, I love you. Whatever you want to do, go ahead and do it. Take a chance. Don't let the opportunity go by. And I hope to come to Zimbabwe in the next.
I can promise you. Let's take you to Zimbabwe.
Let's go.
Let's go. When we can travel.
I have one more. I have one more note. I'd like to personally thank the Mbira family. And we send love on the passing of Chiwaniso, Mbira, and also to the Mujuru family. We thank you for having such great husbands, and all the people of Zimbabwe. Thank you so much. You've definitely shaped my life.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And there's many more that we want to thank, and there's many more that the unspoken heroes to this journey, the music, and we are the more richer because of them. And I also want to thank you and everybody else in the community in America who has taken this to the next level, who has done anything and everything they could to push it to the next.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
48 years.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. And as we move forward with this program, we are going to hear voices from many different parts of the continent. Outside the continent, Brazil, where I think Brazil holds much of the African diaspora and the Caribbeans. We're going to go into any part where we find the voices, and so they can speak in their own voices. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next week on Saturday, same time.
Nematombo, Nondo, Mr. Playboy, stand up. Batai Hana, Batai Hana, Batai Hana, Batai Hana.
Gogoi, tusike obano, ndianiko, tisirane. Gogoi, tusike obano, ndianiko, tisirane.
Mwenda mberi, museamwa, otiziva, moyo nishu. Matema hiva, mwendisoko, mokuye mukono, sinyoro shumba. Esai kushura baba, aiwa uko makata. Fasha wedu apasa, tika usati warasa. Biza waka chonjoma, pamsora iba na mama. Gajirambe wazama, tika kunyora sama. Gatsumbise ukama, musaputse sasanda. Une wako nkazana, mungwe chete pasana. Piti kanana, mwenda mberi pachana. Natsiva tasangana, seha matawanana. Takapira kare kushitaura. Ngati chengete itika zedu zechivan. Waka uya waka zishora. Wona ndasa tiseserivan. Uya nehanda nakakuvi chidzoka nasu kutisevana.
Gogoi, tusike obano, ndianiko, tisirane. Gogoi, tusike obano, ndianiko, tisirane.
Mwenda mberi, museamwa, otiziva, moyo ndishu. Matema hiva, mwendisoko, mokuye mukono, sinyoro shumba. Tatano pinda Cape Town, monotsika hedu jecha. Tukavasiya vachivenga, vakagara pajecha. Hava ndiziva, tata mbonotiva, igara waziva, shaka inyure muziva. Rukupika moyo ndisho, koshiri kubva muhana. Tarisai haso rangu munditowo mukana. Vanogara vari out, vana mashira pashe. Ndimunona najera itaitira fatse. Chikona ngombe, nana humba. Bataya masizira, vanotiziswa mumba. Dodangwa namadhuve, vanoziva shemprese hanzi. Hande ikumba, tsachapresa mari yese gogogoi.
Gogoi, tusike obano, ndianiko, tisirane. Gogoi, tusike obano, ndianiko, tisirane.
Mwenda mberi, museamwa, otiziva, moyo ndishu. Matema hiva, mwendisoko, mokuye mukono, sinyoro shumba. Hana soko muri say, kushunga muri say, mofu muri say, uzema zvimba kupa kuti ndati muri say, ana maposa muri